Locker Room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the Locker Room.
I can smell it already, Philly. What's happening, buddy?
Von Hayes, welcome to the Locker Room with Billy Schweim.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the Locker Room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the Locker Room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Get me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schweim.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome into the Locker Room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN. It's Sunday, 1 week before Super Bowl 55. And guess what? We're getting ready for some snow, Hunter Brody.
I love the snow, Bill.
I know you do. You're a winter guy, man. You're a winter guy.
Yeah, see, I've been getting yelled at because everyone's been all hyping up this snowstorm, and I kind of been poo-pooing it because a snowstorm here is like 3 inches, and then it melts by 6, and nobody ever sees it again.
Well,
like,
then you weren't around in 96.
No, I was. I was 1 year old, and I was stuck inside.
Listen, I'll never forget the blizzard of 96. That was a snowstorm.
Yeah, that's what I want every day.
Well, listen, you know what? I hear you reading your I think it's DraftKings you read, right?
Yes.
During the week. And you know what DraftKings should do? They should put odds out on how many inches. We should be able to place bets on how many inches of snow we're going to get today.
I guess you could do so much these days that it should be in play.
Why don't we put that in place? No football today.
That's weird, isn't it? The first Sunday?
Right? The first Sunday.
What do we do? Well, good thing is we have Flyers and Sixers on tonight to hold us over.
We have Flyers, Sixers. We got a snowstorm. I'm sure my 5-year-old daughter, Eliza Grace, when that snowstorm's coming, she's going to get the sled out. She's already got her boots. She's got her snowsuit all ready to go. I'm going to be outside freezing cold today.
I love that. Then come back in with a nice fire.
A real one.
A real one. That's right. None of this fake stuff.
So, Hunter, we got a lot to talk about, man. A lot going on in the world of sports, especially Philadelphia sports, which is what we concentrate on here in the Locker Room. And we got a great show lined up. Yesterday, I interviewed Kevin Ross, a former Paulsboro Red Raider, a Temple Owl, and now he played for the Kansas City Chiefs for 11 years in the NFL as a defensive back for a total of 13 years. He's now the defensive backs coach for the Tampa Bay Bucks with Bruce Arians.
That's super exciting. Yeah, for sure. I can't wait for that game. That matchup is everything we could have wanted when it came to a Super Bowl. I'm like more intrigued than I feel like I've been in a while for the Super Bowl, outside of the Eagles one, of course.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's a pretty fair point you're making there, because you got the GOAT going up against the future GOAT, right? Let's talk about this. He's the most prolific, dynamic quarterback we've seen ever.
I agree with you. I think the best way to describe it that I heard is you're talking about the greatest, the most winningest, greatest quarterback of all time versus the greatest, skill set quarterback we've ever seen.
I mean, look at some of the plays that Mahomes has made over the last 3 years, like shovel passes, no look passes, sidearm passes. You know, he's like a magician out there.
He really is. I think I even see one underneath the leg for 60 yards. One of those underneath the leg ones.
Right. I mean, so he's so dynamic, and it's like almost like the passing of the torch. It's just is so apropos. Now, let me ask you a question real quick. We got a great show lined up today, so let's get to that. We're gonna talk. We're gonna replay the interview with Kevin Ross. Then we're gonna talk to Mark Eckel of the Trenton Times, formerly of the Trenton Times. He covered the Eagles for 32 years. Hunter Brody. He's covered 11 Super Bowls. He covered 4 Stanley Cup finals. So he's a wealth of knowledge. He does a podcast with our own Ken Dunnick for the Jersey Man magazine called Bird Brains, which is a pretty cool podcast. So we'll talk to Mark Eckel at 11 o'clock. We're streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, so you can see how handsome Brody is today with his unshaven face. And how animated I am. And maybe you can even watch the way I laugh, right, Hunter? Because I have a nervous laugh. Is that what you say?
Well, Gil brought it up, and I defend him, though. I defend his take on sometimes you laugh and you don't realize that you laugh, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
Who said that I don't realize it?
Well, do you realize it?
Absolutely. I laugh because I live. Like, what did Jim Valvano say? Live, laugh, and love. You do all those 3 things, baby, in one day, you got a full day. Even if you cry a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So you get a full, I'm emotional. So I love laughter. But my laughter is not a nervous laughter. It's a laughter of of confirmation that I enjoy talking to you.
And I'm not disagreeing with that. I think that there's plenty of times where that
Well, I
comes
wasn't
across.
able to defend myself to you guys. You guys were hammering me, and that's fine because I love to laugh, and I do realize that's the only mistake that you guys made. I do realize that I laugh. Like if even in the introduction to my show, when Vince Papale says, "Billy," I said, "Welcome into the locker room," because I can smell it already. And what do you hear? You hear me laugh.
You hear a nice chuckle out of you.
All right, got to chuckle, baby.
You got it. I'm with you. Look, I support it. I support it. I'm not anti.
I'm going to make you laugh, and I'm going to make you cry today.
Oh, no, please, no.
Because the laughter will come with the fact that the Flyers, and we're going to talk Flyers, Sixers, maybe a little Phillies will squeeze in because they made a lot. They didn't have a bad off season if you think about it now. But is it enough? Now we'll get into that. And then we'll talk, of course, Eagles. We're going to break down the press conference. I just want to say this before we get on that. I was embarrassed for Jeff Lurie. I don't know what he was trying to prove. I don't know if he's full of himself now, smelling himself. It was like a presidential press conference or something. We don't need to hear from him for 20 minutes, do we?
No, 16 to be exact. I think they did that for a reason. Less Sirianni, so they could be like, oh, look how long the presser was. Yeah, well, 16 minutes of it was the owner just babbling on.
So everything's on the table today, Hunter, Brody. People can chime in on our text board at 609-403-0973 is the text board if you want to make a comment. Or you can shoot us a message on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter today because we're streaming live. All right, Hunter, the laughter comes, hey, the Flyers got a win last night.
I have no clue how this team wins hockey games. I seriously have no clue. They have 6 wins, and I think of those 6 wins, 6 of them were horrendous.
Okay, but a win's a win, right?
I know. I know. People keep saying that good teams find ways, but at the end of the day, like this is not sustainable. If you played this way in the playoffs, you're losing in 4 games.
Well, your premise is that this defense is horrendous. They're not as good as they played last year. I disagree. I think this defense can be good. They're just not playing up to their potential right now, and it's evident because Alain Vigneault, when you sit Travis Konechny, who's leading the league in goals or one of the top 3, and you sit him, are you not sending a message to everybody that if Travis Konechny can find his way to the bench, so can you?
Yeah, but that's more of a statement to the forwards that we don't like the way that you're playing in the D zone, and that's fine. I think that's fair. But that's not really a statement to Justin Braun or Eric Gustafsson.
That's where I think you're wrong, Hunter. I think that's a statement to everybody that if Travis Konechny can get scratched, we better wake the heck up.
Yeah, but see, that's a statement to the guys who don't think they can get scratched. Eric Gustafsson has been scratched. Justin Braun isn't playing. Like, these guys know they can get scratched. I think it's more a statement to, JVR, Travis Konechny, Claude Giroux, Voracek. Like, these guys who think that, oh, I'm Kevin Hayes, or I'm just using him as an example because he's a top 6 guy. It's like, oh, hold on a second. AV will sit them. Maybe I can get sat too because he doesn't like the 5-on-5 play from the forwards. But I think, look, the thing is, the message was sent, and they responded in the first 20. But they fell back to exactly who they were after that, and I don't know how they won that game last night. I have no clue.
They played well in the first. They relaxed, and they took their foot off the gas pedal in the second. Now, remember I told you, I didn't get to see the second period, and I saw the highlights here and there, snippets. I saw the tail end of the third, and I saw the overtime. They played better in the third. And obviously they get a win in overtime. But one stat that I think is a telltale sign, as bad as they're playing, if you look up and down the plus minus, they're still all pluses, most of them.
Yeah, but I still think
as a defenseman, you should like that stat.
Well, yeah, I like plus minus. I think there's value in it, but I watch this team play every shift, every period to this point, and this is not winning hockey. This is not going to win you what you want to win. So you might be able to get by in this early stages of this season and whatnot. You will not win playing this way. You won't win anything.
So I'm going to look at it taking the other approach, that if they're winning games playing this horribly, I think they got their best hockey in front of them, Hunter.
Yeah, see,
I think that's when if you're winning games when you're playing like crap, Could you imagine when they put it together? Because this team has that capability.
That's where I disagree. I think
That's
they're
where you
playing this.
disagree. All
I
right.
think they're playing this horribly because they're horrible. Like their defense, Justin Braun is bad. Eric Gustafson makes Shane Gostisbehere look like Gordie Howe, and that's bad. Like, seriously though.
Wait, was that a nervous laugh you just made me do?
No, that was a real laugh because that was funny. But like Gustafson, I've never seen someone have 5 assists in 7 games and play this putrid. He is a dumpster fire. Justin Braun is bad. Like, and look, this is what Ivan Provorov, sadly, he's not playing the way he played last year because he doesn't have the comfortability of now Ghost is being the guy that jumps in the play.
But it's going to take time. Come on, you of all people should know, especially in the back of the blue line. It takes a little while to get used to your pairing. If you keep switching around, you got to find that comfortability zone.
No, but here's the difference. Matt Niskanen allowed Ivan Provorov to be that offensive defenseman.
Right.
Now he needs to be the defensive defenseman, and Ghost is now your offensive defenseman, and that limits what Ivan Provorov can do.
And usually I'm Mr. Negativity, right? I can't believe I find myself defending a team playing this bad to you, who's a sophisticated hockey person who's played the game and knows, and I'm trying to convince you that this team is better than you're giving them credit for.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. You just have more faith in the defense. I just watched the defenseman play Robert Haig. Like these guys
I like Robert Haig. I see
horrible.
Look, I can't tell you how many times last year he led the team in hits, and the hits were not just like he would lay people out.
He's a 6th defenseman. I mean, those guys log barely any minutes for a reason. He's got like a minor role, but the problem is because your defense is so bad, you got to play him more, and that's when there's like these guys are good in roles, but then when they have to play more significant time, you start to see their flaws. And I get it. Robert Haig does have more physicality than the rest of them, but he lacks in so many other areas that I don't think it evens it out enough.
We're broadcasting. We're streaming live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Check us out at 97.3. Go to those sites and just plug in 97.3 ESPN. You'll get to see Hunter and I face to face. You can send us a comment or text us at the text board at 609-403-0973. We remind people the first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection, professional settlement services for home buyers and sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts to help you through the entire process from contract signing to closing, from the shore to center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you. With 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA, that's Surety Title. For more information, call our good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Everybody knows that winter can be harsh on your home. And with a big storm coming in, those winds howling, if you're looking to replace those old, damaged, insufficient windows, call Steve at Steven Rizzo Inc. I did. Steven replaced my windows, and they look great. Steve personally returned my call, and his team was nothing but professional from start to finish. With over 30 years of experience, you can't go wrong. So write this number down right now. Get yourself a pen. Steven Rizzo, 856-547-1760. That's 856-547-1760. Ask for Steve, and, of course, check out his online reviews. They're pretty amazing. All right, when we return, we'll continue more here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. And we're streaming
that went well.
live. We're streaming live.
Yeah.
I mean, people can still see us, right? Like, we're cool. So
yeah, but we normally put this up during break.
Oh, there you go. That's cool.
And
mute me too, right?
Yeah, you're muted.
All right.
Okay, so the one thing is, I don't know how Josh normally does it, but you're not going to hear the police music, but the radio will.
See, well, I can hear it with Josh.
Okay, the only reason why Gil texted me last night is because they keep getting copyrighted stuff on YouTube because we're streaming now on YouTube. Right. So because we're playing the police music, it like gives us a copyright claim.
I see.
So it'll play on the radio. You just
how will
I
know?
I'll talk to you in your ears.
Oh, you'll be able to say. So let it bleed for about like 3 to 6 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like with Roxanne, or right when they get to the good part, that's when I want to start talking.
Yeah, exactly. I got you. I'll feel it out.
So let's. Who does Sixers play today?
They play the Pacers.
Where's my Saturday paper? Here we go.
Where's my Saturday paper? He says.
Well, they have the schedule in here. I just don't feel like pulling up. My computer is slow, so if I pull up a lot of shit, there we go. So at the bottom, we'll talk a little Flyers, and we'll transition into the Sixers. Talk about them, and then the last 8 minutes, we'll talk Phillies. All right.
Yep.
Because I do have a couple Flyers things that I want to clean up with you.
We got 2 minutes.
Huh. And Kevin Hayes still has that streak going where when he scores, they win.
You're good.
All right.
Bill, you're on.
All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. We're streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Check us out there. Send us a message if you feel free to do that. Also, you can send us a text if you want to be part of the show, 609-403-0973. We're talking about the Flyers and their win last night, overtime win against the Islanders. And, well, how about Scott Loughton? Last night was his first regular season overtime winner. The last time he did that was in the playoffs against these same Islanders.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. When I was putting up my Sports Talk with Brods recap and I started typing in like Scott Loughton overtime winner, the first thing that came up was versus the Islanders in Game 5. And I was like, oh, wow, I forgot about that one. But, yeah, that was beautiful. He had great patience on that goal. That was tremendous.
All right, I want to – we brought it up briefly, but we didn't get into it like meat and potatoes. The benching of Travis Konechny. Now, Travis Konechny, he's a wiry, spunky, competitive guy. Do you think that he deserved to be scratched? Because I didn't really see too much wrong with his play. Wasn't just him. All the forwards weren't back checking. They weren't taking the body, finishing their checks. They were doing a lot of stick checking. Was he just being singled out, like, or was he the biggest offender of not playing with intensity?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think
right.
that he wasn't playing very strong 5-on-5. I think a lot of guys weren't. But the way AV said it is, look, this guy's our top 3 forward. Like, we view this guy as our top 3 forward. So I think a lot of guys were playing poorly. He did single him out and kind of made him the scapegoat, but he was also at fault as well. And kind of like you said, if he can get sat, any one of these top 6 forwards can get sat. So I like the move. I have no problem with the move. The problem I have is after 20 minutes, that spark already fizzled out and they went back to who they were for 40 minutes right after it. So the calling out of Travis Konechny lasted 20 minutes. It's like, damn, that is not long enough for my liking.
Keep the faith, baby. I love Elaine Vigneault. He's going to straighten his ship out. But have confidence because he called the team out last night. He said the shifts were long. And you know, Hunter, as a hockey player, right, you got to go short and hard, boys. Let's go short and hard, short and hard. And you got to get off the ice about as fast as you get on the ice. And those 3 seconds, 5 seconds could be the difference.
Yeah, no doubt. They got stuck a couple of times. For example, I mentioned Gustafsson a bunch. He's icing the puck, and that was after actually a good opportunity to get offensive zone time. They're fumbling the puck. Justin Braun's fumbling the puck. It goes back into their D zone. Then they're chasing the puck around. I hate how squads can work the puck around 5-on-5, but it feels like a power play when the Flyers are in their D zone. Like they have so much time and space. It looks like the Islanders are on a power play. It's ridiculous.
Well, Vigneault also said that the Islanders were out changing them. I mean, that'll drive a coach nuts. Hunter, if you don't, hockey players, by the time you get to the NHL, you don't have to be told there's no dinosaurs out on that ice, right? Unless the coach specifically tells you, stay out. Short and hard.
Well, I think they got stuck a couple times in that second period, specifically due to the long changes, of course, but both teams have to battle that. And here's another problem with the Islanders. It's a brutal matchup. They play that old neutral zone trap kind of vibe where you can't really get any sort of rhythm offensively, so you're getting stuck. But you got to find ways to get past that defense. Either you chip it in and go forecheck hard, but they couldn't. They were getting outshot like 20+6 at one point because they just couldn't get out of the neutral zone whatsoever and get any sort of creativity going entering the offensive zone.
609-403-0973 is the text board. If you guys want to chime in, feel free to do so. We're also streaming live on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. If you want to leave us a message there. How about this for a stat? The Flyers are 5th in the league in goal scoring, 31 goals. And they are the 7th, doing that on the 7th fewest shots on goal.
Yeah, that's my point. It's like, I don't think that's sustainable. I really don't. Like, it's working right now, but I think it'll eventually average itself out. It's sort of like, for example, when a baseball player's hitting like 480 in a 2-week stretch or 1-week stretch, you're like, wow, this guy, like, okay, yeah, that's awesome, but you're not going to keep that up forever. You're eventually going to fall back to who you are. This Flyers team, that might work right now, but like you're eventually going to fall back to who you are.
See, I agree with the premise that they're playing horrible now. I think it's only going to get better from here.
I just think this is who they are,
No,
sadly. Defensively. I think Couturier adds to their forward depth, and he obviously is great defensively. But in terms of how the 6 defensemen are playing, I don't know how you get better. Like, this is who the 6 defensemen are. Is Sean Couturier enough to make it look better than what it is? Yeah, of course, he's a Selke winner. But in terms of like these 6 defensemen, this is what you got.
And they're going to listen. They're going to get Phil Myers back soon. I think he's not that you can rely. Like, obviously, he still hasn't really established himself as a solid, rock solid defenseman. He's growing into that role, but he's not there yet. But I think getting him back will help.
Yeah, I agree with you. Getting anybody back at this point is absolutely going to help. I can't wait to see what this team plays like with Couturier, because you're talking about a guy who can shut down the opposing's number 1 line, and that's really crucial. You got a guy you can match up against the other team's best. You're lacking that right now, and your boy Claude Giroux, there's some stats flying around how great this team is when he's out there on the ice defensively and how much of a difference it is compared to when he's off the ice. G has had a strong start to the season.
Yeah, he's been playing pretty well. I think you remember how upset I was at the Boston after the Boston debacle.
Yes.
Remember I was going off, and rightly so.
Yes.
By the way, having Scotty McKay on yesterday, as you know, Scotty is the head coach of the Cherokee hockey team, and he's old school like I am with his mentality of, look, if you're getting embarrassed and you're getting beat up and you're getting taken to the woodshed, you got to do something. If that means drop the gloves, and you said to me, here's what you said. Who's going to drop the gloves? If I were the boss, I'd just laugh in your face. Believe me, there's a way to if you're pissed off enough, there's a way to do that. All right, there's a way to get under people's skins and to make them fight whether they want to or not.
Yeah, but no, I mean these guys are too smart for that.
He agreed with me.
Well, I mean that's fine. That's fine. He can agree with you. I'm not discrediting his knowledge of the game. I just see it differently. Because I've been asked to fight when I'm up 3-1. I've been asked to fight 4-1. Like you laugh. It's like, dude, I'm not wasting my time on you. We're up. What do I benefit compared to what you benefit?
But if I get under your skin, if I just like come after you, I have you in my crosshairs. Eventually, you're gonna get enough's enough.
No, but I know that's what you want. I'm not giving in to what you want. You want that, so that's me getting sucked in. Like
I guarantee, when I played hockey, I could get you to fight me. Guarantee.
No, that's what you think. These players.
I would be. Oh, you don't know.
It doesn't work that way anymore. It just doesn't. These players are smarter than that. They know that can cost them a lineup spot. You look, Konechny's getting benched right now, right? Scratch.
But he doesn't have that part of his game. By the way, he does mix it up though. I've seen it, as little as he is. I see him do more, be aggressive more than anybody on that team.
Yeah, but that doesn't. You can be chippy and all that and not have it result in fights. My point is, if you're up 4-1, the Flyers up 3-1, you fight because someone gets you all pissed off, and then the team loses. You think Alain Vigneault is going to credit that fight and put that guy back in the lineup?
Yeah, but when it's 6-1 and you're getting embarrassed, and look,
no. If you're down 6-1, different story. I'm saying if you're on the other side, no one's going to fight you. I
understand that, but. All right, we're going to agree to disagree on that because we have two different philosophies, the way we see how to play hockey.
But look, I'm basing this off of how the game is played today. Right. Do you agree with me that when you're up 4-1, the team is not fighting in today's hockey?
I'm not going to give anybody an opportunity to get back in the game. I get that. But with that being said, there's ways that you can go about doing it with clean hits and then just enough to just infuriate somebody that they might have no choice to drop the gloves.
It doesn't work that way anymore.
And by the way, these back-to-back games, familiarity breeds contempt. And you're going to start to see in the next couple times that they meet the Penguins 2 in a row, or the next time they beat the Sabres 2 in a row, you're going to see a little bit more chippiness.
Oh, no doubt about it. And I like that part.
And that's great for the game, Hunter.
I agree with that. The Canadian teams, because there's less teams, they see each other 3 times in a row, and it's getting insane. Dude, I can't stop watching this Canadian division. I have NHL Game Center every single night. Toronto, Edmonton, Vancouver, Winnipeg, Montreal, Senators. Like, dude, this I'm almost at the point where, like, I wish this is a real thing forever, this Canadian division.
Really?
I think it's the greatest thing in the world. I watch Hockey Night in Canada every single game.
I had that much gusto when I was younger. I remember coming home at work and watching the West Coast games at 10:30, staying up, because I didn't have to be at work until 12:30 when I worked at U.S. Airways. I caught the first, the first broadcast, 7:30 start, the 10:30 start. I loved it. I don't get a chance to do that much anymore, but I hear you, man. I love the passion of NHL hockey. The game has changed a little bit for me in respect of the lack of fisticuffs and the physicality. But you say it's there, and I'm going to believe you because you watch those games. I haven't been.
Yeah, it's there for sure, and I love it. I love every minute of it. I'm like, I find myself, because the Toronto Maple Leafs are essentially the Dallas Cowboys. Like, you either love them or you hate them in Canada. It's like that team that everyone despises, or you're part of like that fan base. So I like how they do last night. I watched their game, and then maybe I'll check into the Toronto Maple Leaf coverage. And I was telling Gil this off the air one day. They talk about can you believe Mitch Marner changed his stick from 85 flex to 75 flex? And they break down that like we do the Eagles, where we talk about who's active, who's the 53 man, who's the 47 man. Like, they're breaking down that he switched white tape to black tape. And I'm like, oh my, they love it. They love it.
Those Montreal-Toronto games have to be outstanding.
Yeah, well, the Montreal Canadiens right now are just playing stellar.
Yeah.
Might be the best team in hockey.
All right. Listen, one other Flyers note, when the players are asked about their perception of why Travis Konechny was benched or scratched, they don't they try to avoid. I'm reading some of the transcripts. Most of them avoid it, given what their true feelings are on that.
What, the players themselves?
Yeah, like Claude Giroux, Kevin Hayes. Then they kind of deflected the answer. Why don't you ask him? You have to ask AV. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to get.
Well, I think they just gave you kind of the I don't know, the player speak kind of answer, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I find that. I find that. Let me see how I can say this. I would like to see either the players stick up for Travis Konechny a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you
what,
think
like,
about it?
what, you mean like Claude should be like, he
Tra-
shouldn't have been scratched?
well, Travis is a competitor. He's intense. He's this and that. I'm sure I don't see any of that.
Yeah, I feel you. Like maybe you could have did something like, look, TK's a great player. We're all making mistakes out there, and this is just kind of a wake-up call to let us all know, like, hey, we got to be better 5-on-5. Something like that, more than
Like
just the basics.
for instance, Claude Giroux says he was asked, Claude, before the game, AV said to Philly to win the Stanley Cup. He came here to win the Stanley Cup. So when he sits TK today, what message does it send the team? I think for the message, it's better to ask him. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm with you. Would I have liked a little bit more than that? Sure. I don't think I'll lose sleep over it, but I do think I would want more. Yeah, for sure.
Just the color of the tape, baby.
I'm with you.
All right, 609-403-0973 is the text board. Of course, we're streaming live on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. So if you want to send us a message, feel free. The first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection, professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts to help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, from the shortest center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you. With 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA, for more information, call our good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli midsize sedan and the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy being called a Maserati. Maserati, the mainline, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. But your experience does not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the mainline, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at Maserati, the mainline, at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. All right, when we return, let's talk a little Sixers. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. Hunter Brody's back at the studio, pushing all the buttons. We're streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So if you want to leave us a message there, check us out. Of course, you can send a text message to the text board at 609-403-0973. We covered the Flyers. Let's transition to the Sixers, Hunter, because I got to tell you, man, Joel Embiid is playing. He's a beast. He's beast mode right now, and he's playing great. Scotty McKay and I, though, don't like, and I want your opinion on this because you always have a different perspective than the get off the lawn crowd. One thing that when they played the Lakers, by the way, that was a great win, and a great win, and the flagrant foul by LeBron James. We were comparing. Every time Joel Embiid gets hit, he flops all over. It looks like he got shot, right? He looks like he got hit. He's hurt, blah, blah. And then when you really get hurt, you don't get the reaction because it's like the boy that cried wolf.
I think this one was a little bit different than that. Now, I thought the reaction towards LeBron was ridiculous. Like, by the letter of the law, was that a flagrant one in today's NBA? Sadly, yes, that's where the NBA has become. But did I think it was malicious or evil or no? I thought it was just
it was dangerous. You're talking about our MVP, and for him to push him like that.
Yeah, but see, I didn't think I thought it was more brace than it was push. Like, I don't think it was like I'm pushing Joel Embiid down. I think it was more like bracing that Embiid was coming his way, and he put his forearms out, and that led to Joel Embiid falling. I thought flagrant one was the right call. I heard on the broadcast that it's been like 6 years since LeBron James was called for a flagrant, which is pretty insane in today's NBA to not get a flagrant.
Protect them.
Well, no, see, I disagree with. See, that's not. I hate that because people were saying, "Oh, LeBron's crying, this and that." Joel Embiid is on a
crying. I just said maybe they're protecting him a little bit.
Well, no, no, but he's not. He doesn't play that way though. So, like, he's not a player that is on the edge ever. So, there's a reason why he never gets called that way. But this whole thing that, like, oh, LeBron's crying, he's a baby, this and that. Joel Embiid is on a historic pace of getting to the free throw line. To think that he isn't getting calls because he's Joel Embiid, well, that's laughable. You're just not you're saying it to the other team, and you're not acknowledging that, look, that Joel Embiid gets these phantom calls on him at least 6-7 times a game.
Yeah, but Hunter, what I'm saying is that every time that you get touched and you flop, you fall down like you were just drilled, eventually that's going to wear thin on the referees. Might when it really happens. And I'm not saying, like you said, I'm not saying that was an intentional flagrant foul. But regardless whether it was intentional or not, he might not get, if he continues to do this, like he's 7'2", and how much does he weigh? You got to be a Mack truck to knock him down, right? And when he looks like he gets shot out of a cannon when he gets hit. I'm just saying it's not a good look.
I agree with you. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he definitely does flop around. He throws his hands up here and there, but he's getting to the free throw line at like this historic pace. So,
and like, look, he is playing he's playing out of his mind right now. What I really enjoyed about the Sixers coming back against the Timberwolves after a really big emotional win. They stopped the Lakers. They had a 10-game road winning streak. They stopped it. Then they go to Minnesota and they get a nice win.
Oh, I think that's impressive. I think just the pace of Embiid playing, we've seen so many times this would be normally a day where he takes the night off, he relaxes, or, he's a scratch for the night, but they say he has stiffness, which we did see in that second game against Detroit, I believe it was. Like, it's going to happen, but the pace that it's happening at is significantly shorter, where I was shocked. I put this out there. If you told me I had to bet my entire bank account on if Joel Embiid was playing that Minnesota Timberwolves game or not, I'd be broke right now, because I would have put hell no.
I heard you say that, but when I saw him come out on the court, I'm like, yeah,
I think it's a statement. Yeah, it's a statement. It's more of like it shows
Minnesota to have Karl Anthony Towns. That would have been a perfect night for him to sit out.
Yeah, it shows the mentality of the organization, and the handling of Embiid and Simmons is now changed into more of a, hey, you want to be that star, you're going out there and playing.
And I wonder, I just put it out there, how much do you think Dwight Howard has to do with that?
I think there's something to it. I mean, it's clear that his strongest suit and his strongest skill set is helping these kids grow and groom. I mean, he was once a dominant man in this league that people forget about because he's kind of been a little bit weird since all that happened, but he was a dominant man that brought a team to the finals. I think there's a lot to it.
609-403-0973 is if you want. There's a text board number if you want to jump in, make a comment. Of course, we're streaming live on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. You can send us a message there. It's Sunday with no football today, but always a lot to talk about here in the locker room with Billy Schweim, Hunter Brody. Want to remind people the first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. From the shortest center city and every place in between, Surety Title is there for you. With 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA, that's Surety Title. For more information, call our good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Just about everybody in our area knows about and has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine that is run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. But were you aware of the private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey that attract over 200 top business people. So if you have an interest in attending one of these events and sees a fit for your business, send an email to Ken at jerseymanmagazine.com or give him a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. All right, when we return, we'll wrap up the first hour, talk a little Phillies. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN. All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. Today we're streaming live on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. So if you want to leave us a message, go to the sites. We're there. You can see our fotches, our ugly fotches. Do you have any scars from any pucks, Hunter? Or sticks or anything?
Nothing in the face. I only got hit in the face good one time, and it wasn't even in a game. It was in practice. One of my own teammates high-sticked me when I was wearing a visor, and it got me up the nose, a little shock through the teeth. But no, nothing too brutal. I mean, I did get into one career fight where I broke my nose, but nothing.
Yeah, remember you showed me that video, too.
Dude, my nose was touching my eyeballs. I went into the locker room. They put 2 chopsticks in my nose, and I just heard it crack back into place. I was like, damn. I did not return to the game.
Oh, my God. Well, I took one off the noggin. This tooth was knocked out. But we got to have some battle scars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got one on the hand because I blocked a shot and my thumb was hanging off my hand. So I got like one scar from my surgery there, but nothing in terms of like something sick under the eye forever. And I always wanted the no teeth thing. When I was younger, I actually tied my tooth to a door and I was like trying to yank it out so I could look like Sean Couturier.
You want to be one of those guys.
Oh,
By
yeah.
the way, see, when I was growing up, Bobby Clark with that smile, he'd go, that video that you see, it's priceless. And then Sean Couturier, that just made, he won me over right there.
That's the look I'm still trying to go for it.
Listen, there's nothing like the real chops. You know what I mean?
I know. I'm just having some fun.
Let's talk a little Phillies real quick. In the second hour, we're going to talk with Mark Eckel, formerly of the Trenton Times. He's now author at Jersey Man, Philly Man magazine, writes great stories, covered the Eagles for 32 years. We'll talk to him. And then at the bottom of the second hour, we'll play the interview I had with Kevin Ross, who's now the defensive back coach at Tampa Bay. Let's talk a little Phillies, Hunter. The Phillies, if you look at their body of work in the offseason, Dombrowski, I think he did everything we wanted him to do, correct?
Yes, I don't know how you could be upset with this. People look at it, though, as you're bringing back the same team. Why should I be excited? But it's step 1 of 4-step process.
And listen, and I know you guys established on the Sports Bash, but if you blow 14 saves, if you just eliminate 7 of those.
Here's the difference, though.
They're in the playoffs.
Well, here's the difference. 1, the DH. 2, they added a team to the playoffs that's no longer in play right now. And 3, in theory, the Mets got significantly better. So a lot to factor in, but I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
All right, so they get Archie Bradley. He throws some heat, man. He throws 96, 97 miles an hour. They bring in Matt Moore.
Yeah, that one's low risk, high reward kind of thing.
But the point I'm trying to make is Dombrowski, there are general managers that make the right moves. They just have it. And to me, this guy has it.
Well, how are you basing that off of Matt Moore, who played in Japan last year?
I'm not bracing. It's an intuitive, an innate feeling that I have that he looks like a baseball guy. He did did you think we were going to bring JT Realmuto back?
But I don't think that was
hold on, just answer. Did you think we were going to bring him back?
Yes.
Hey, you did. You were okay.
Well, because I saw the market. Once I saw the market play out where James McCann went to the Mets and got paid that money.
Right. But before that, when JT Realmuto during the season last year, when it was evident that he was all but gone.
No one thought he was coming back. It depends because what we knew they were doing was waiting for the market. So once they were playing it where they were waiting for the market. If it was 7 years, $200 million, $180 million, I didn't even want him to begin with. Right. So that was smart for the Phillies not to pay that. So it depended on how it all played out. So there's so much that kind of lies in that conversation that makes it murky.
Bringing back Didi Gregorius. Look, the Phillies cut like 18. They cut a lot of money. Positions. They downsized. Because they were hurting financially. Even John Middleton said a couple of years back they're going to spend crazy mad money. Then the COVID hits, and he's complaining that he lost $147 million.
Here's my argument, though. like when you hire Dave Dombrowski, it's already determined what you're doing. So like John Middleton isn't surprised that Dave Dombrowski did this. This was part of the interviewing process. Hey, Dave, what do you think about this team? What do you want to do? Well, it gives him the game plan. So John Middleton knew that this was coming before Dave Dombrowski was actually hired. So like it's not Dombrowski making this magic work. It's like this was an established game plan from owner to him when the interviewing process happened.
You think that's what happened with Clintek?
No, but they fired him. That's irrelevant though.
But what I'm saying is, I don't know. I can look at something and I'm pretty perceptive, is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, I think Dave Dombrowski has a handprint in here, but I think that was the mindset of this team when he was hired. It's not like he was hired and then
like Dombrowski gives me confidence. Daryl Morey gives me confidence. He came in, he made some great moves. He gives me confidence. Chuck Fletcher. He gives me confidence. Do you have any confidence with Howie Roseman?
The difference is, I think Daryl Morey gives me more I think there's more red flags with Chuck Fletcher based off of Minnesota. I think there's more red flags with Dombrowski based off of every place, not one, not two, every place he leaves blows up into flames disgustingly. So, like, that's a red flag for me. I'm not saying he's not good at his job, but
like the Philadelphia Eagles after they won the 2018 Super Bowl. Look at it now. Every team's like that after they win.
No,
for the most part.
It doesn't have to be though.
Well,
it doesn't have to be,
but it is. That's the reality.
No, it does not have to be that way.
Organizations win championships.
In baseball, it's built off your prospects. You can win in the major leagues and still fundamentally build your farm system A+, where it doesn't, because it's not. You can find studs in baseball throughout drafts in any round where you can constantly build your farm system. This organization hasn't had a good one in their existence. So it doesn't need to be that way in baseball specifically.
I'm excited. I just don't know.
I'm excited.
I just don't know if it's enough, only for the simple reason that the Mets got exponentially better and the Braves are phenomenal.
It's not for this year. It's staying competitive. That was the message. Staying competitive. It's not winning anything. It's step one of a 4-step process is what Dombrowski did.
All right. And I like you. We are in agreement.
I'm a fan.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
How about that for hour one? It just goes flying by, Hunter, bro.
You know that.
You gotta get you a Jerry Cheevers mask with all the stitches and everything, man. The Jerry Cheevers mask. All right. Hour one is in the books. We have Mark Eckel, formerly of the Trenton Times, who covered the Eagles for 32 years, been to 11 Super Bowls, 4 Stanley Cup Finals. He writes for the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine. He's up next. We'll replay our interview with Kevin Ross. It's all coming up here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. We're streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Check us out there. It's a locker room with Billy Schweim.
to the locker room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the locker room.
I can smell it already, Billy. What's happening, buddy?
Von Hayes, welcome to the locker room with Billy Schweim.
Yeah, hey, Billy. How you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the locker room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill. How you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Let me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schweim.
We're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. I write an article I post my article every Friday on 973ESPN.com. This week I posted how all the teams are fighting for the headlines, during this time period, and the Flyers and the Sixers and the Phillies, but the Eagles been dominating all the coverage. So I reached out to a guy that covered the Eagles for 32 years. He went to 11. He covered, I think, 11 Super Bowls, 4 Stanley Cup Finals. He used to write for the Trenton Times, and now you can read he authors articles at the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine with our good friend Ken Dunnick. Let's go to the Barb's Harley-Davidson Sports Hotline and welcome into the locker room, Mark Eckel. How you doing, Mark?
I'm good, Billy. How are you?
All right, man. I've been dying to get you on for some time now, and the opportunity has arisen because I do check you out with Ken Dunnick with your Bird Brains podcast.
Oh, good. I hope you enjoy it.
I
enjoy doing it.
I plagiarize you.
Not good, Billy. That's not.
No, I'm only kidding. But no, not right. Maybe I comment on some of the things that you guys say.
All right, that's fine. There you go.
Mark, well respected. You've been around for a long time. You're retired now, living in Myrtle Beach. Of course, like I said, I hear your work with Ken Dunnick. Ken's a great guy, and I've had an opportunity to do some live remotes with Ken. You guys do a pretty good job with that Bird Brains.
Thank you. Yeah, Ken's my thing with Ken, and we've become pretty good friends now. The guy played 4 years of professional football and went to the championship game every year. To me, that's the most incredible thing I've ever heard. You know how many guys played 15 years, 18 years, never smelled a championship? Here he played 4 years. He says he was in the right place at the right time, but it's more than that. The guy's he's on winning. He's a winner.
He's got the Midas touch, Mark. If winning follows,
yeah, exactly.
I just made and you know what, too? I'm glad you said that too, because Mark, I just made a comment a little while ago on my show. There are some general managers and some players that just winning, like for instance, Danny Green on the Sixers. What has he been on? 3 or 4 different championship teams? Like Dombrowski for the Phillies and Morey and even Fletcher. I'll put into that mix. The success. They have a modicum of success no matter where they go. And Ken Dunnick's one of those guys.
Yeah, I mean 4 for 4.
Can't get any better than that.
And like the Eagles, he got there at 80. It's not like they hadn't gotten there before he got there, and then they didn't get there again after he left for another 20-something years. So he did, he picked the perfect year to be with them, I guess. And
then the Stars, right? Then he went to the Stars.
Yeah, and then three with the Stars, 1, 2 with the Stars.
Mark, I wanted to get you on because the Eagles are, in flux right now. They're, I don't know if you got a chance to. I'm sure you did watch that press conference. What did you think of Jeff Lurie at his press conference?
Same thing I thought of him before the press conference. Not very much. Hey, listen, I'm not going to bash him, but I mean, Jeffrey Lurie is not good at press. He's never been good at press conferences. He says the wrong things. He tries to impress people with how much he knows about football and how much he, just introduce the coach and move on. What was it, like 20 minutes before,
Yeah, it was almost like Mark. It was almost like a State of a Union address or something on the Philadelphia Eagles.
I mean, at least he didn't say gold standard or anything. That's
Mark, did you think anything? Mark, did you think anything?
He thanks to Staley. Don't thank Du Staley. Hire Du Staley. How about that?
Exactly. Mark, what did you think of Howie Roseman not being part of the press conference?
Surprising. I mean, he is the general manager, and he didn't. I mean, well, I guess it's a different time now, so I'll give him the out there that I would have hoped if this was a normal circumstance, if it was at the NovaCare or wherever, and they had chairs set up in front, and the media in the audience, that Howie would have at least been up on the dais.
Right.
But being it was Zoom, I don't even understand how Zoom works. To be honest, like I'm old now, and I don't do these kind of things. But
hey, Mark, that's another thing. Are you glad you're retired now? That the fact. That
oh my God, every day. I didn't like. I'll be honest. Now, like you said, I was in the business for close to 40 years. Covered the Eagles for 32. For 30 of them, I loved it. I really did. I used to joke that I didn't have a job. It was fun. It really was. I enjoyed. There were some days that were worse than others. Don't get me wrong, but for the most part, I really enjoyed what I did. Those last couple of years, it started to change, and people said, "You'll know when it's time," and I did. It got to be more of a job. Just the way, and I'm not blaming anybody in particular, but it's just the way the business changed. Like for most of my years, like I got to know players pretty well because you could be in the locker room with them. And I was one of the guys, if 20 writers were talking to one guy, I didn't talk to that guy. I went over and talked to an offensive lineman by myself, or a defense or a linebacker or whatever. I wasn't in that big group thing all the time. And you really got to know guys pretty well. Like there are guys I covered who I still keep in touch with through the years, Now it's not like that. You can't, there's less access than ever. You get who they want you to get. And right. This is prior to COVID. This is, so like I said, my last couple of years, we're bringing the quarterback into the room, and then everybody else goes in the room. We're bringing this guy here, and everybody goes. It's that herd mentality, which, to be honest, I never enjoyed. And then I'm not going to say it's all them. It's like that everywhere now. Almost. It's just that they control the media more than they ever had, and as a lot of people would tell you about me, I was uncontrollable. So
little censorship there, Mark.
A little bit.
We're talking with Mark Eckel, formerly of the Trenton Times. 32 years he covered the Eagles. He did 11 Super Bowls. What's your fondest memory about covering one of the Super Bowls?
Here's the one I usually say. The year that the 49ers beat the Bengals on the come from behind, Montana took them down the field. Well, I actually did a story. John Taylor wasn't a media dart. He was a little shy then, didn't really like to talk to the media. But he's a Jersey guy. And
Pennsauken, right?
I went to the 49ers. Excuse me?
Pennsauken? Did he go to Pennsauken?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So I went to the 49ers PR guy. I forget who it was at the time, but I kind of knew him. I said, listen, I know John doesn't do a lot of talking, but he's a Jersey guy. I want to talk to him about growing up in Jersey. He said, yeah, let me ask him. Well, that's all he needed to hear was Jersey. So I actually had the only interview, I think, that week with John Taylor. And he winds up catching the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. So I was pretty proud of that.
That's pretty cool. I know when I get to go over to like the Flyers allow me a press pass, and I get in there, and you're right, it's control. They'll only send out a few people who, like, I guess the media gets together and say, who do you want to talk to? They'll put like 4 or 5 guys out in different areas of the locker room, and it's like a free for all. It seems like the way your technique is, where you get to be personal and get to know somebody and see what makes them tick.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. As I said, there are guys I covered through the years who I consider a friend now, and I think they feel the same way. Because you got to know, and it wasn't just talking about football. I didn't just talk football with them. We talked about, what's going on hey, did you a new movie that came out, or a TV show, or they would ask me. I was single at the time. They would ask, hey, so what's going on? Who you date? It was personal kind of stuff. It was kind of fun. It was a good time. I like I said, for 30 to 32, I didn't have a job. I got paid, but it wasn't. I didn't look at it as a job. I looked at it as, like I said, if there were some days were worse than others. There were days where I said, oh, what's going on now? But and some long days. But it was, for the most part, I can't complain. And even last year, I don't want to sound like it was that bad. It's just the culture. Even though, and this is, I'll blame this on the industry. What we wrote changed. We used to write I used to enjoy writing a nice, in-depth, long story, maybe, and like work on it for a little bit. It got to the point now because when we became NJ, I wrote for NJ.com, which is a great place. Don't get me wrong, love the people there. But it was more about just get it up quick, right?
Yeah.
It used to be. So the coach talks first, right? And so the coach would say something about a player. Then you would go talk to the player and get his reaction or whatever, and talk to somebody else and write a nice story. By the end of the day, you'd write a story and it'd be in the paper the next day. Well, the .coms changed all that. There was no next day. You get it up. So the coach says something, you write something immediately, and they don't want long. I used to, my average columns or stories were probably about 700 to 800 words, and then I would do like a notebook or whatever on the side. No, they don't want. They want it like 300, 400 words. Just get it up, put it up quick, then go talk to the player, and then write a 300, and then write another story that's 300, 400 words. And then it was just. And again, I understand the way things are now. And if I was, 25 again or 30 again, okay, that might be cool. But I've been there too long and done too much. I didn't feel like doing that anymore.
We're talking with Mark Eckel, formerly the Trenton Times. You can follow him on Twitter at Mark Eckel 108. Of course, the author's stories.
Just 08.
What's that? Just 08?
Just 01.
Oh, I'm sorry.
08.
All right, at Mark Eckel 08. You author stories on the Jersey Man and for the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine, and of course, I think I met you years ago. I was good friends with Chuck Betson, rest his soul. He just passed away.
Oh God, Chuck! Oh, yeah. I love Chuck.
Chuck passed away last year.
Yeah, no, it's terrible news. I heard that when I was down here.
And I think I had the pleasure of in transit meeting you and whatnot.
Probably.
And yeah,
if you were friends with Chuck, yeah,
I went to a couple Super Bowls with him. I did the what I did?
Oh God, and you survived?
Yeah, well, I was his runner. Wait to hear this, Mark. I was when Penn State played Miami in the Fiesta Bowl, and that's where I think I met you. Did you go to that one?
No.
Okay. Well, I was his runner because the press of Atlantic City only gave him him and maybe one other guy to go out there, and he made me because I worked at U.S. Airways, so I could fly for free.
Okay.
So I flew out, and I became his runner because back in those days you had to get the story with the tape recorder and run it back up to.
Oh yeah, right.
In the press box.
You didn't go? Did you go to the Super Bowl with them in L.A. when the
Yes, Pasadena. Yes, Pasadena. I mean, that's where I met you.
Okay, I might have met you there because Chuck was hanging out there a lot.
Did you play in that tennis, the Miller Lite tennis tournament?
No. But I was. Were you there tonight? Chuck and I got a great story from that Super Bowl. Chuck and I met and hung out with Bruce Willis the Friday night before the game.
No, you know what? I think I don't think I got in until late that night. I think I caught up with you. I caught up with him afterwards because I took a later flight.
Now this was Bruce. This was pre Die Hard Bruce Willis. This is when he was still on the TV show Moonlighting.
Oh yeah, Sybil Shepherd.
But he wasn't a superstar yet. He was a TV star.
Right.
Yeah, Chuck. He was at the Super Bowl party, and Chuck talked to anybody and had no filter. So Chuck says, "Hey, that's first place." Yeah, I like him on. He's been on TV. Because he's from Jersey. I said, yeah, he's from Belmar. I said, well, let's go talk to him. Tell him what. So we went up. Chuck and hey, I'm Chuck. I'm from Atlantic City. He's from Trenton. He's a Jersey guy. And the guy loved it. Hey, you guys from Jersey. And we had a great time with him.
Mark, I'll tell you what, man. God rest his soul. He was a funny guy. Mark, one more question before we're up against the break.
I'm sorry.
What do you think the future is for the immediate future for the Eagles? With your experiences of covering the Eagles, you've seen the ebb and flow. You've seen it. Just give me a quick.
Well, they're going to be in trouble. I mean, next year I wouldn't count on. I mean, they basically almost came out and said we're in a rebuilding mode, and they didn't. And they never say that. So. I mean, they have cap problems. They have an aging roster. The decision on a quarterback is big, but that's the least. I mean, that's one of their problems, but it's not their only problem. It's not like, okay, Wentz is fixed or whatever. They keep saying they have to fix him. I'm not sure what that means, but that's just one of the problems. They have an aging roster. They have cap problems, so they're going to have to get rid of some guys just to get under the cap. Never mind sign other. I mean, I don't think they're going to be busy in free agency because they don't have any cap room. So I think next year is going to be another down year. Maybe things go right here and there. Maybe some young players develop and they can maybe get to 500. But I wouldn't think anything. I I think that's being wishful. But they have to make right choices. They got to hit with this pick in the draft. Has to be a star quality, a guy who develops into an NFL star. When you're picking that high, you can't miss. So they got to get a really good player, and then come back in second round. You're picking high in the second round again.
Yeah.
You got to get maybe not a superstar there, but a good solid starter for you with that pick. That's going to be like the 38th or 39th pick. That's got to be a good player. So they have, they have to be smart. They have to make good decisions going forward if they're going to get back to where they were.
All right, Mark, I wish we had more time. Our segments are short, but listen, it was great, great talking to you today. I really appreciate it.
All right, Billy, thank you. And again, anytime now.
All right, we'll do it again. There is Mark Eckel on the Barb's Harley Davidson Sports Hotline. You can follow him on Twitter at Mark Eckel08. I appreciate that. And want to remind people the second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay's award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home to a 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining, experience lively atmosphere in the pub. There's a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season to appeal to everyone. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. Hey, everybody knows that winter can be harsh on your home. If you're looking to replace those old, damaged, insufficient windows, call Steve at Steven Rizzo, Inc. I did. Steven Rizzo replaced my windows, and they look great. Steve personally returned my call, and his team was nothing but professional from start to finish. With over 30 years' experience, you can't go wrong. So write this number down. Steven Rizzo at 856-547-1760. That's 856-547-1760. And ask for Steve. Of course, check out his reviews online. They're pretty amazing. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more Eagles talk. You're listening to The Locker with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN. All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN, the mobile app. We're streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Check us out there. And Hunter, let's get right into the presser because I thought the presser was just I don't know what to say about it. I don't think anybody was impressed with it. And when they say things like, they looked at 25 guys, they only interviewed 10, and they got their man, which isn't probably the truth. They said that they were looking for the best football leader possible. There were things that he said, Jeffrey Lurie, that in actuality they didn't happen. Like we said earlier, if they interviewed for 8 to 10, 15 hours, you think they would have dotted every I, crossed every T, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more just them trying to dance around questions more so than, like, I don't believe him when he says, I didn't watch film. I don't believe him when he says, I haven't thought about the quarterback. I don't believe him when he says they haven't talked about it because they're trying to program him into lying. So I don't really blame Nick Sirianni.
No, I
don't blame everyone behind them.
I agree with that. So when Lurie comes out and says Nick Sirianni is a brilliant communicator, did you get that impression from this?
No, but I did pull this up, and you haven't heard this, so I kind of want to get your instant reaction. It's 40 seconds long, and here's Nick Sirianni in the locker room with the Colts. Now, being a coordinator is a lot different than being a head coach, but, the awkwardness and him stumbling over his words, I felt bad for him. I personally did not get the same impression based off of this clip, so here it is right now.
We handled adversity excellent. Right? And guys, we know that happens so many times during the season, right? A drive stalls out. Another drive stalls out. Another drive stalls out. And then we got to go, right? And it takes somebody making a play. It takes somebody making a play and handling the adversity that you're going through to take us out of the rut. And Jacoby made a hell of a throw to Chester. Chester ran a hell of a route. And the protection was perfect, right? The whole thing was beautiful. And the next period, right, we started really fast.
What'd you think?
I think he sounded like that's a great coach.
Yeah, I agree.
See, that changed my inspiring coach.
Yeah, that changed my perspective a little bit. Because look, as this might be cliche or whatever, but you're not paid this. You are paid to do this, but your job is to win football games. And some people might feel uncomfortable in front of all these media members, but when they're in their comfort zone, which is the locker room, and Doug's an example of that. As much as we hated Doug's answers, every single person in that locker room respected him, played hard for him, and he had a message that was sent. So he was a dumpster fire in front of the cameras. The team loved him. So I don't want to write him off.
With you. I'm not worried about his nervousness or his speed, his interview. I'm not worried about that. You just played a clip, makes me feel good about him. I'm just saying, out of Jeff Lurie is where my frustration comes in. When you hear him talking about his football IQ is off the charts, he's a great communicator, and then your first perception isn't that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, what you just dug up, that's great, and that gives me a little bit more confidence moving forward.
I agree. And in that clip as well, see, this is the difference, though, like being an offensive coordinator compared to being a head coach. Frank Reich is in the seats where the players are sitting, and he's just taking a step back, and he's listening to them. Like, he's not – Frank Reich is almost hands-off. He has his arms crossed, and he's in the chair as if he's a player, just listening to Nick Sirianni kind of talk about what happened going through plays. So, look, does this mean he's a fantastic coach? I don't know. I don't know what he is, but I do know that calmed me down a bit.
Let's give him time. He's got to earn our trust. He's got to earn his players' trust. And even Lurie said that. That's the one thing that I agreed with Jeff Lurie because it's a true statement. Let's give him time. The players are going to have to adjust to him, and he's going to have to earn their trust and vice versa.
Here's my problem, though. I just feel, and once again, I feel like I'm judging Nick Sirianni, and I don't want to, but it's almost like this is a coach in progress. This isn't hey, you got like a legit coach. Like, I was waiting for that moment where the light bulb went off, and it was like, aha, that's why they got him. Right there. I see that message. That's what the message was when he stepped into Jeffrey Lurie's office. I didn't really get that, and I feel like when you get a first-year quarterback and you got to, like, watch him grow and watch him do this, like, that's kind of what they're going with, and you could have went with more of a structured guy that you know what you're getting, and you just didn't get that.
Another concern of mine, real quick, is the all the coordinators that he's hired, Shane Stitchen and Brian Johnson and John Gannon. These guys are all 35, 36, 38 years old. They're all young.
I know. I would have loved just one veteran, legitimate presence, whether it was D coordinator or O coordinator. I wish they had one guy.
Right.
I will say though that his name's pronounced Steichen. It's spelled weird, but yeah, no. So apparently, and I don't know how much you want to put stock into this, but the Chargers fans couldn't have been more excited for his ass to get out the door. He was essentially the Mike Groh or the Press Taylor. Like, they wanted him out. Now, to be fair, a lot of people thought Andy Reid sucked in this city. And like, that doesn't mean much, is my point.
Well, he grew. He got stale. It got old.
Yeah, the Jonathan Gannon hire. He was on a lot of teams' list as DC. And one more point on the young guys. Here's the difference. Because the league is going so young, it's crazy. He's 39 years old. He has 10 years of NFL experience. These coaches get hired at 28. So, like, I'm with you. It concerns me, but they've been in the league for a long time, some of these guys.
And look, let's face it, our beloved Dick Vermeil was 39 years old and 100 days when he got hired. So look what we had in him. All right, want to remind people the second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay's award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. When you get down there, say hello to Radio Ron Ralston for me and Kevin Kelly down there. They do a great job. All right, friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli midsize sedan and the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati, the mainline, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. But your experience is not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the mainline, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at Maserati, the mainline, today at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. And, of course, those Maseratis can outrun any police car that Eric Holloway is driving in. I'm guaranteed that. But he'll be chasing Michael Pileggi around. All right, when we return, we're going to play our interview with Kevin Ross, the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a former Paulsboro Red Raider, and Temple Owl. When we return, it's the Locker Room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN.
Then turn around. Go the other way. Progressive Motorcycle also presents basic policy starting at $79 a year. Progressive Motorcycle, for those who were born to ride. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy is not available in all states.
All right, I'm really excited about having my first guest on. I played football against him. He's tough as nails. He's a former Paulsboro Red Raider, Temple Owl, a Kansas City Chief, and now he's the defensive backs coach, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's go to the Barnes Harley-Davidson Sports Hotline. I welcome into the locker room a good friend of mine, Kevin Ross. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing great, Billy. How are you?
Kevin, all of Paulsboro and most of the people that you played against are, I'm sure everybody's excited for you, man.
Yeah, I don't know if they're more excited than I am.
You got to be pumped up, Kev. You know what's so wild? I was in my car today thinking, wow, man, I played against Kevin Ross, and he's coaching in the Super Bowl. That is so cool. Is it registered with you yet?
Not quite. It's getting there, though. It's as close as it gets, it's getting there.
Have you talked to any of your former teammates from Paulsboro, like Glocker or Paulson, all of those guys?
I talked to a few people back there in Paulsboro and, around the area and everything. Everybody's really excited. I probably got like 475 calls and texts. It's crazy. It's crazy down here right now.
Well, I'm one more guy that's bothering you. Kevin, man, you played for Bruce Arians, and after your career, he brought you on as one of your coaches. You guys been together for a little while.
Yeah, Bruce, he's got, we got like 5 or 6 people from Temple University on the staff. Todd Bowles, our defensive coordinator, Nick Rapone, who coached me at Temple, Keith Armstrong, who's our special teams coordinator, Lori Locust, who was one of the first female coaches in the NFL. She's from Temple.
Wow.
He takes care of his people. We try to take care of him the best way we can, and it was working out so far.
And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't say it's a sad day for Temple Nation. You guys lost Coach Chaney today. Died at the age of 89.
Yeah, Coach Chaney and Coach Arians were there at the same time. Both people turned around the football program, turned around the basketball program. Hard-nosed coaches, fair coaches, great people.
Kevin, what makes Bruce Arians tick? What he seems to have lasting staying power in the NFL, and now he's solidified that by making it to the Super Bowl as the head coach. What makes him tick? What makes Coach Arians a great coach?
He's a people person. He's very easygoing. He lets you be you. The players love that part of him. He's really smart with the X and O's, and he's just a great guy.
We're talking with former Temple Owl, Paulsboro native Kevin Ross. Kevin is now the defensive backs coach with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are you surprised with the success the Bucs have this year, or are you right where you thought you guys would be?
Honestly, when we signed Brody, I thought this is where I thought we would be. Last year, we had the opportunity to do the same thing. We just gave the ball away a little bit too much. This Brady, I know people hating on him and everything, but he's really a good guy. He's really smart. Very, very detailed in what he does. And I see why he's so successful right now. I mean, we beat the Packers, and we're coming back home from Green Bay, and he's watching film of the Chiefs already. So that's
wow.
He's the real deal, Bill. He's no joke. He's the real deal.
Hey, Kevin, that leads me to another question. How much video do you guys watch? Remember back in the day, we all watched film, but how much video do you guys watch?
Well, the NFL, actually, you're watching more film than you are actually on the field. We study people's stances, everything. You study stances, formations, all kind of tendencies and things like that right there. And, this game is going to be a big game. It's going to be a good game. We look forward to the challenge, and we know we got our hands full, but we look forward to it.
Speaking of your hands full, Kevin, you're going to be going up against one of the most dynamic, prolific quarterbacks we've ever seen play, in Patrick Mahomes. And their and their receivers. I mean, you're talking about Sammy Watkins and Tyreek Hill. How are you going to prepare your defensive backs for that? Like, what can you do to get them ready?
Well, we won't do what we did last time. I can tell you that. We're aware now. Sometimes you have to actually play against a person to understand the person. And now that we have played them, we have seen them, we felt their speed and what they do. I think this time around, we got a better understanding, and we kind of know what to do now.
Kevin, having Tom Brady on your team, does that give you added confidence knowing that you've got the GOAT on your side?
Having him on our team, for me, assures me that, you got a guy that's been there several times. You know that you're going to be in the ball game, and your confidence should be soaring.
Do you have much interaction with him, Kevin?
He sits right next to me on the plane.
Is that right?
He's right there next to me, so.
That's pretty cool. We're talking with Kevin Ross, former Kansas City Chief, Paulsboro High School, Temple Owl, and you are getting a lot of text messages and phone calls from family and friends. What's the hype like down there in Tampa Bay?
Oh, they're excited. They're excited. I think this is some events starting tomorrow. Super Bowl experience or whatever is starting tomorrow. I've only been to one Super Bowl, Bill, and that was as a spectator, and that was way back when the Giants played Denver. I went out to Pasadena to watch the Giants in Denver, and I vowed right then and there I would never go to another Super Bowl unless I was involved with it.
Hey, your safety, Anton Winfield. What are your thoughts on coaching him as a young safety and getting him prepared for the up and coming Super Bowl?
Can you believe I coached his dad in Minnesota?
No way, really? Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's like I told him to tell his dad, the dad never got there. And here he is, first year out. He's in the Super Bowl. We got a young secondary. Our guys, we got three of the guys are second-year guys, and the other guy's a third-year guy. So it's three 2-year guys, 2 3-year guys, and then Antoine's a rookie. So they're young. They're growing up real fast, and they're playing really well.
I would imagine the emotion of playing in this big game. I remember what it was like running on the field in Paulsboro, getting intimidated by seeing you guys, the Red Raiders. I wonder what the butterfly for such a young secondary. You don't want to get too hyped up. You want to keep it even keel, but I would imagine their emotions got to be going all kind of crazy.
Well, they've like I said, they've handled everything pretty well. They've matured every game. They've learned from every game. They're still learning, but they are very eager to play in this game right here.
Kevin, I got to tell you, man, I'm really ecstatic for you. I'm so happy. You played for 13, 14 years in the NFL. And what's it like? I mean, do you have as much satisfaction as a coach? I know you played, you wanted to get there as a player, but how does that make you feel as a coach coaching in the Super Bowl? You have just as much satisfaction, you think?
I think I have more. I think I have more appreciation for what it takes. And, like I won the state title in Jersey in high school. And this, I mean, as a coach and a player, and then just to see these guys, man, mature and just get better right before you. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel really, really, really good.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm pulling for you guys. I'm pulling for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the NFC. But I got to tell you, I'm pulling for Kevin Ross. And Kevin, I wish you a lot of luck. And I really appreciate you taking time I know you've been a great friend to the show. You're giving me your time, and I really thank you. I thank you for that, man.
I appreciate it, man. This is a big game for me. I mean, it's like, I played 11 years out there in Kansas City. They're a classy organization, and we got our hands full. Like I said, they were so classy. Bill, I got a ring from their Super Bowl from last year. So this is big. This is huge. This is huge.
I was gonna one last question, Kev. That is, I didn't think of that. You were a Kansas City Chief for 11 years, and now you're going up against. I mean, you're in the Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Fame, and now you're coaching against your team. What's that like?
Hey, man, I'm telling you, it's huge. It's big. It's like I don't know. I can't even put it into words.
Yeah,
I got a lot of friends out in Kansas City still. A lot of like friends that I consider family. It's huge. My ex teammates are out there. I've talked to a couple of my ex teammates already about it. They asking me how I feel about it, and I'm like, I'm just ready to go against them and see what happens.
You're so focused in your job that you don't have time to think about that until it's all over, I would imagine.
For sure.
All right, Kevin, listen, man, good luck on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, against the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Of course, you can listen to the call live on 97.3 ESPN. Thank you so much, Kevin.
All right, appreciate you. Tell everybody back there I said hello. Hey,
Will do.
And Bill. Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
Once a Raider, always a Raider. Go Red Raiders.
All right, there he is, Kevin Ross on the Barb's Harley-Davidson Sports Hotline. All right, the second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it is fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is a private golf course. You are greeted by name. It's home in a 3-hour and 58-minute round. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always, always a great day at Great Bay. Say hello to Radio Ron Ralston for me when you get down there. Hey, just about everybody on the area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. But were you aware of the private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month, they'll have private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey that attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give him a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. All right, when we return, we'll wrap it up. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. Hi, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. We're also streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Get to see what we're doing. You get to look at us a little bit. And of course, I want to give a shout out to I think my first or second intern, Tyler Doris. He's listening to the show, Hunter, on the way up the expressway. So he said, "Great show today." And hey, how about that interview with Kevin Ross? I mean. Hunter, he was tough as nails to play against. I covered him. Paulsboro was in our conference. I covered him from 9th grade all the way up to senior year. Played him in football, basketball, and baseball, man. So I know him well.
Yeah, that was a great interview. I love the Tom Brady stuff. It's interesting to hear because, look, to us, he's this guy that just wins football games, but you know him deeper. You know him more when you hear from these guys, and I'm so intrigued by what he's really like. It's that competitive nature.
And he says, everybody's hating on him, but you get to know him. He's a great guy. He's a good teammate, and he works hard. He's prepared.
Yeah, no doubt. I can't wait for this Super Bowl. We kind of alluded to it earlier, but this is a matchup where it's like, damn, this is going to be, hopefully it lives up to the expectations, but it has the chance to with that defensive front of Tampa Bay. Like now that we're transitioning into this week, it's now back into that heavy mode again.
Yeah. And by the way, I am pulling for Tampa Bay and the NFC, but I got to tell you, man, Mahomes is no joke. And that Kansas City Chief, Tyreek Hill, you see some of the moves he made last week. The speed, and even Kevin Ross said it. They're aware of the speed that these guys have. It's going to be, they got their work cut out for them, man.
Yeah, it's one of those matchups similar to the NFC Championship game because I wanted Tom Brady to win, but to see Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl would be amazing. So, to me, it's like either Andy Reid wins or Tom Brady wins. Like I want both of them to win, so I don't really care who would. My gut actually tells me, and I feel like I'm a fraud for feeling this way, but so be it. I'm rooting for Tom Brady over Andy Reid.
I am too.
Yeah,
and I'm because I'm voting for Kevin Ross too. Hey, by the way, guess what, Hunter? I'm looking out my window and it's snowing. It's coming down, baby.
A good snow?
Yeah, we got a good snow. I'm looking at the roof across the way and it's sticking. And it's like it just started. So you know what you need to do? It's going to be a snowy next couple days. You got to go down to Randazzo's at 34th and Asbury in Ocean City. They got the best lobster bisque on a nice cold day. Get the lobster bisque. I'm telling you, Hunter, it's the best lobster bisque you'll ever have in your life. But everything on that menu is unbelievable. They get this pasta. They got paninis. They got it all. And the best part about it is the food is great, but the family's even better. Giuseppe and Marianne Randazzo, great people down there. Get down to Randazzo's. You won't go wrong. Now, Hunter, tell me about the big trade last night.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe it when I saw it, but we ended up getting a big quarterback move, and we know it's happening this summer, or this offseason, I should say. We're going to be seeing a lot of moves happen with these big-time quarterbacks, and last night, Adam Schefter broke the news that Detroit is dealing quarterback Matthew Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for 2 future first-round picks, a third-round pick, and Jared Goff. So it's, look, that's the first one to fall. Look, it's crazy if you put together everything the Rams moved to go get Goff and then to now trade Jared Goff. They haven't had a first-round pick in years, and they never will. It's pretty wild.
I'll tell you what, man. I wonder if this will preempt a lot of other moves. Not preempt. I mean, if this would inspire a lot of other movement, people say, well, they're doing it.
Well, here's the difference. When they trade these pieces, they're getting back legitimate players in return. So, but they are a team that's in cap hell all the time, and they are having struggles with money. So just because they do it, it doesn't necessarily mean this is the best way to approach things.
The league is a copycat league.
But they haven't won anything.
No, I know. But the league is a copycat league, and people see that they're pulling the trigger. Maybe we'll do something bold and outside the box.
Well, you can kind of put it in your own thoughts. They committed to a quarterback.
Let me just say, one thing that I do say about Howie Roseman does have the ability to be creative with stuff like that, salary cap, trading, and making it all fit. Not saying he will, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I like the fact that it was easy to know right from the jump. They did not like Jared Goff. We are moving on from Jared Goff. Right. And then within weeks of the offseason, bang, here we go. So they committed.
This
And
could
they moved.
embolden the Eagles to make a move.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
we got
there's too
Jalen
much.
Hurts right there in the fall. He's in the nest.
What, you think they're going to move Jalen Hurts?
No, I'm just saying we have him in the nest. Now, you know what I mean? We have him in the nest. Hey, how about that? Fastest 2 hours in radio, huh?
Crazy.
The snow is falling here in Collingswood, New Jersey, and it is coming down. I want to thank you. Did a great job today, Hunter Brody, as always. Did a great job with Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Want to thank everybody for making the locker room part of your Sunday, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schweiner. Want to thank Kevin Ross, as always, to give us his time. Mark Eckel, great catching up with Mark Eckel. We got a week now to the Super Bowl. I'm excited. Get yourself prepared. Get yourself in a 3-point stance, Hunter. It's the Locker Room with Billy Schweim. We'll see you next week right here on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.